Welcome to the FWOT Show on the Coil Entertainment Network. I'm Rob Steele, that's Jesus Jones in the background, and this week I am not going to talk about the cop who wandered into someone's apartment, blew them away, and is apparently going to get off with a slap on the wrist. If you can't tell, that's f***ed up. There's little hope for you. Seriously. Now, what did they find out about the guy whose apartment she walked into? Oh, he had marijuana in his apartment. Yeah, he was also in his living room minding his own damn business. Now, the family lawyer for the guy says, oh, they should fire the cop. Fire the cop? What do you mean fire the cop? Arrest the f***er. I mean, seriously, what are... Oh, wait. So, I am talking about it, aren't I? Yeah, let's fix that. I'm also not going to talk about Trump's congratulatory tweet to FEMA on Saturday because FEMA doesn't respond until after the storm has gone through, and on Saturday, it hadn't, which just proves that our president is still a complete blithering idiot. I'm talking about it again, aren't I? All right. Lighter news. Let's do something lighter. No, Bic is not involved. It has to do with Microsoft. Yeah, because that's lighter news. There's an update coming for Windows 10, and when it gets here, it was first reported by CNET that if you get this update and then try to install Google Chrome or Mozilla's Firefox as a new browser, a window would pop up and remind you that you have Microsoft Edge, the biggest, fastest browser out there, and, well, it's not. It says it's safer, it says it's faster, and it's been proven. It just isn't. It's the Donald Trump of browsers. It's bloated, it's slow, it's unsafe. It's Donald Trump. It's so bad, actually, that of the top 5 browsers, Chrome being number 1, Firefox is on there, the old version of Microsoft's browser, Internet Explorer, is on this list. Edge is number 6. That's right. Of the top 5, it's number 6. 2% of the country use it. 2. It's free. It came with Windows. Does anyone want to use it? No. Why? It's crap. So, this update that says, hey, you've got Microsoft Edge, why don't you use that, has already been removed. I think that's funny. But speaking of things that have been removed, and this one makes no sense to anyone, including people in its own state, Texas has announced that they're going to be removing Hillary Clinton and Helen Keller from all of their school curriculums. Not going to teach anything about the first woman ever nominated and running for president in a major party, and not going to teach about Helen Keller, who, despite being deaf and blind, was, one of the biggest disabled community advocates ever? But no, not going to have them in the curriculum because why teach about women? There's just women folk, and we don't need to learn about that. Yeah, you kind of do. Even Texas state legislator Chris Turner popped up on Twitter, because that's the only place you can do this anymore, and said, I'll quote, if Helen Keller was an important historical figure when I was in school, and she was, then she still is today. Teach her in the schools. But speaking of Texas, oh, poor little Raphael Cruz. I'm not going to call him Ted. I'm just not. He started a campaign to get reelected because it's coming up in November. And he's doing something that is, let's see, what's the word I'm looking for? Illegal. What? A Trump friend doing something illegal? No, can't. Yeah, he is. He's sending letters to senior citizens and making them look an awful lot like court summons. And you have to come to court unless you pay this fee. The fee is actually a donation to the Ted Cruz Help Reelect Me board, or whatever it's called. His super PAC? I don't care what it's called. You can't do that. It's illegal. So if you live in Texas, Beto O'Rourke. He doesn't pull shit like that. Personal note, my wife spent the weekend binge watching So You Think You Can Dance. Now the answer to the question is yes, they do. They think they can dance. I don't think they can dance, but they dance anyway. And as I wandered through the living room, I saw 3 women take the stage. And the music started. If you if you want to call it that. And this is not because I'm getting old. These were 5 notes repeated on a mid-70s Casio synthesizer while someone said something about a bump. Really? All right. I guess it could be musical. Anyway, the 3 women were dressed like extras from the last Tron movie. And then behind them, some strobe lights started up. And all 3 of them had simultaneous seizures. And the judges loved it. Personally, I'm just hoping they got the medical attention they obviously needed, and maybe someday we can have universal health care so programs like So You Think You Can Dance can get the help it so desperately needs. Bad headline of the week kind of comes from the world of sports, but not as such. I'm not making fun of the story. The story is absolutely horrible. But tell me what you think about this headline. The headline is, and I'll quote, "Christian college punished football players who raped and beat a student with an 8-page essay." Now that's how I read it. And I am not making fun of a player who got raped. No. Or even beaten. That's still, okay, maybe not quite as bad, but beaten and raped is not a good thing. What got me was the way that was phrased was that they raped a student with an 8-page essay. And try as I might, and I even consulted a friend of mine I went to high school with who works in a sex shop. She just does. And I asked her, "Do you sell 8-page essays? Because that may be a sexual device that I'm not familiar." And she said, no, we don't sell those. It turns out they were punishing the students by making them write an 8-page essay. Yeah. No. You punish them by calling the police and sending them to jail. That's what you do when you find out somebody raped somebody else. It's just the way it works. Not writing an essay. That punishment is just not appropriate. And speaking of punishments that are not appropriate, and this still goes with football, although what happened nowhere near as bad as beating and raping a student. David Onyemata, and if I'm mispronouncing it, Tough, is a linebacker for the Saints. And he was fined for leading with his helmet on a tackle twice against Tampa Bay. Now this is apparently a penalty thing. I don't understand this in the slightest because I still do not understand how you're supposed to lunge at somebody and tackle them without your head going first. That's the way the body's made. Anyway, they fined him twice, which turns out, and this is a rarity, the combined fine is more than his paycheck. So of course he's appealing it. And I think he may have something to go on here because earlier in that game, the Tampa Bay quarterback ran a quarterback sneak, or whatever the hell it's called now, round the end, and as he went into the end zone, he was going to be tackled, but he put his head down and led with his helmet when he ran into the defender who was trying to tackle him. Was there a penalty? No, there wasn't. So if you're going to find David Onyemata, you need to find quarterback Fitzpatrick, whatever the hell his first name is. I didn't bother to look it up. Do you agree with me on that? I think you should. I doubt the NFL does, but I don't care about the NFL either. Anyway, if you have any comments or questions about the show, contact me through the website, thefwotshow.com, where there's buttons for Facebook and Twitter and email and all that good stuff. There's also buttons for iTunes, the Google Play Store, and YouTube, and Spotify, and all that stuff where you can subscribe to the show, which is a good idea. And there's also the button for the FWOT shop, where you can pick up a t-shirt or a hat or a coffee mug or something. All the proceeds go to support the Coil Entertainment Network so we can keep the shows free. How hard is that? Besides, the shirts look nice. I'm wearing one now, so there. Anyway, I'm going to end with a quote of the week. It comes from Michael Moore, who is someone that a lot of people have problems with. Personally, I don't care about the guy one way or the other. But he did have a good quote. It has to do with El Presidente, Donnie Trump. The quote is, "The only thing left to decide about Trump is, do we try him as an adult? I don't think we should, but that might just be me." Anyway, have a good week, everybody. We'll see you next time.